Hi there. Hello, hello. I am so happy that you are here. I'm Theresa, and I guide women in discovering what they're meant to do and empower them to make a successful career change and find a fulfilling career. I am super lucky to be here in Hawaii, so I'm tuning in live from Hawaii. And I would love for you if you would say hi in the chat. Let me know that you are here and let me know that you're where you're tuning in from. Always love to see where the audience is located. Also, let me know if you can hear and see me well. I want to make sure everyone can hear and see me. And I'm just really, really happy that you are here because today I have a great topic to unravel. And that is the confusing world of job titles. And I chose that topic today because I know so many of you want to make a career transition, want to find a career that makes them come alive. But if you're quite honest, it's quite daunting to find the job titles that would be a match for us and our skills. And that can leave us feeling quite overwhelmed. If you've ever felt this confusion or overwhelmed when you're looking at this wide array of job titles out there on job boards, drop a yes in the chat. Hi, Tasha. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. So happy that you're here. And then to kick off this topic, I want to start by sharing a brief story from one of my former clients. Her name was Sarah. I worked with her last year, and she was an architect, really successful in her career. And she never really thought about what she truly wanted to do with her career because everyone in her family was an architect. Her parents, even her grandfather was an architect. So growing up, was kind of a no-brainer for her that she's going to be an architect. And she never questioned that. Right after high school, she got into a great school, studied architecture, and then she had great connections in the field, landed her first job. And after a couple of years, she discovered that she's really not happy in this job. But she had no idea what to do instead because that's all she knew. That's all her family knew is how to be an architect. And that's where our journey of working together began. And she was very stuck because she thought, like, these are the only skills I have. How could I possibly apply them anywhere outside of architecture? That's all I know. I know how to construct high rises. Like, that's how I know. But I don't, like, there's nothing else I can do. So we started with really diving deep into what skills does she have? Where do her interests lies? What are her strengths? And then through this deep dive, she really gained confidence that her skills and strengths are not only tied to being architect, but they can apply to a much broader range of positions and jobs and industries. And that opened up so many opportunities for her, where she finally saw a world full of opportunities. And she realized that user experience design is something she was really drawn to. She started talking to people in that field, a field that she'd never considered before. Hi, Andrew. So great to see you. Thanks for being here. If anyone else has tuned in the meantime, drop a hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm always happy to see everyone. Hi, Julie. Great to see you. So happy that you're here too. So sorry, I interrupted my story that I was telling about Sarah. And really that breakthrough was when she realized that what job titles were out there and did align with her strengths and skills, and how she could apply her skills to those titles and then find the right ones for her. So that is what I'm going to be talking to you about today, how we're going to uncover that. And I'm curious if you've ever saw job titles online that you were like, what does that even mean? Have you ever came across random job titles online where you're like, what's that supposed to be? So if you know of any of those job titles, drop them in the chat. I always love seeing all these random job titles that are out there. Hey, Brittany, I'm so happy you're here. Great to see you. Yesterday I made a post today and there was sunshine officer that I came, and that was a legit posting that I saw online. And there was a chief happiness officer, which was kind of like an HR manager, but in the company they call differently. So there's a wide range of from very traditional to super duper crazy job titles out there. And how do we untangle those, right? Hi, Erica. Love that you're here. Thanks for tuning in. So let's dive right into it. First of all, why do we even need to decide on job titles when we want to make a career change or when we're approaching a job search? And I want to share a graphic here with you. Let me share my screen here. All right. So there's one reason why people's job search is often not successful. And it is because it looks like something like this graphic. And I was there for sure. 5 years ago, I was in recruiting, super, super unhappy, but I had no idea what else I wanted to do. So I sent out random job applications for pretty much any job I found on LinkedIn or Indeed that somehow aligned with that I thought like maybe I could do that. But it was so random. I had no idea where I really, really wanted to go. And that's what held me back from at that point from finding what I really want to do and make a successful career change. And I see that with so many clients. And the same was with when Sarah came to me. She had sent out applications, but it was kind of like this picture. It was just some random job she applied to without a strategy, without knowing where that goal is that she really wanted to go to. And that is what ends people up in this sending out hundreds and hundreds of job applications without landing a job offer. It's getting incredibly frustrating, and there's just no success. So, what I want you to do if you are thinking about a career change, or if you want to change jobs, or if you're in a job search, start with the deep dive and figure out where it is that you want to go. Because once you have this goal right here, getting there actually becomes the easier part. It's the hard work is figuring this out. But that's really the foundation. Unless you know where you want to go, you're really not unlikely to get there. So we want to start with figuring out what is this goal, what are the job titles that we want to target, and then we can map out our route of how to get there. We can be strategic about applying to positions. We can position ourselves for these positions. So that is the reason I chose this topic today, because I want you to find the goal first and then map out your route to get there, then map out your job search strategy. And that's what Sarah did. Once she had an idea of what it is that she wants to do, it became so much easier to make a transition. She felt so much more confident in positioning herself for those roles. She could tell her story in a way that made sense for the goal that she was targeting. Okay, let me end the screen share here. Perfect. If anyone else tuned in, I always love seeing where everyone else is from. So feel free to drop a hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And I am here to answer all of your questions. So please, if questions come up, I'm going to save some time at the end for Q&A, but feel free to drop them in the chat as I go, and I might just answer them in the middle of it too, just right while we're on that topic. So please, 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 any questions you have, drop them in here. And I have a question for you, and I want you to think about your own job search. Has this been a struggle for you, like it has been for me and for Sarah in the beginning, of figuring out what that goal is supposed to be? If you've ever had that struggle in your career, please drop a yes in the chat so I know that you've been there too. And then we want to talk about now, how do we solve this problem? Because figuring out that goal is really the hardest piece, because it involves such hard inner work. And that inner work is so much harder. Like when we think about writing a resume or updating your LinkedIn, that's hard. But when you talk about that inner work of figuring out what's inside of us and who we are outside of a job title, that's serious hard work. And A lot of times I see a lot of yes dropping in here. Jamie, Erica, thank you for sharing. Andrew's dropping a yes in here. Thanks. Oh, yes. Tasha, too. I see lots of yes. I know this is a challenge so many of us have experienced or are currently experiencing. So, the topic today is job titles, we can't start with the job title. We have to start with an us. We have to figure out who are we at our core. We first need to figure out what are our strengths. And all of you want to do a quick exercise with you. And I want you to think about the past month. So the last month or maybe last month or two. What is one task or project that you felt was effortless for you or that you were highly praised for? I want you to take a second to think about it and then drop it in the chat. You can just say a couple of words, one or two words about what that project or that task was that you were doing that felt effortless or that you were praised for. And please share it with us. If it's something at work, great. If you're in a job where there's just nothing that feels effortless or you're ever praised for, then think about outside of work. What came really natural to you? What came easy to you? Was it communicating this liaisoning between two people who maybe had a disagreement at work or outside of work? Were you able to help them communicate in a successful way? Was it you were super creative and you just had this burst of idea and put it on paper in any shape or form with words, with drawing? Was it something was really in disarray, a process didn't work, a system didn't work, and you looked and be like, there has to be a better way, and you found out a better way to improve it? There's millions of things what it could be. So I really want to hear from you and drop it in the chat. What is one task or project that felt effortless for you or that you were praised for? And this does not have to be anything big. It can be something really, really small. It is an accomplishment, no matter how big or small it is. I'm not looking for you made the company $2 million. That's not the accomplishments I'm looking for. I'm looking for something small that just felt easy for you, that felt effortless, and you enjoyed doing. And for Sarah, I asked her this question too when I started working with her. And the first thing she's like, oh, yeah, like it wasn't even a task that was given to me, but the architecture firm she was working for redesigned the website. And she was like so into it of how to make it more intuitive for the users. And because she just loved doing that, she dove into this project that she just did on the side of her regular work. And she's like, that felt effortless and easy to her of putting herself in the user's shoes who land on that website. And how do we design it so it's easy and possible for the users to navigate? So that gave us a great idea about what it is that she enjoys doing that comes to her naturally. Jamie, thank you so much for sharing that. I absolutely love this. Organizing a volunteer program. That's fantastic. That is such a great hint towards what comes to you naturally, what you're enjoying. It's organizing people. Maybe it is something related to what the volunteers were doing. Maybe it is a mission that you're passionate about. Bringing these people together and successfully accomplishing a project together, that's huge. Thank you for sharing that. Another part that we want to think about in our deep dive is what transferable skills we have. And that's something I see a lot of people struggle with because our skills are so tied to what we do on a day-to-day basis. Oh, love that, Andrew. Help someone find a job they love. That is amazing. And it came to you naturally. This is not what everyone is good at. So I want you to really own those accomplishments. Even though they felt natural to you, you made a huge difference in someone else's life. And that's big. And that really speaks to the work that you can do and that you're capable of. Let's go back to the skills. So now when we think about One project that you did or one task that you did that came to you naturally. What were the skills that you used? Oh, thanks, Andrew, for sharing that. Yeah, it came to me naturally. And that's honestly where we get stuck so often, that the things we do best, they come to us so naturally that we don't think about them as strengths because we just do them. But it takes really, sometimes it helps to talk to other people to that can help us draw it out of us, because for others it is not natural. Not everyone, when we go back to Jamie's example, not everyone can organize a volunteer program. Some people might really be like, I have no idea where to start and this is not for me. That's probably the majority of people. So realizing that you're good at this and that it comes naturally to you is huge. Now, let's think about the skills that we used while we were working on these projects that we enjoyed. Is it problem solving? Is it communication? Is it leadership? It's organizational skills. What are the skills that you used and how can you use them in a different way? Because so when we go back to Sarah's example, was really good at communicating with her team. She had great leadership skills, but she saw them in that moment tied to only her architecture field. She knew how to communicate with all the different stakeholders. She knew how to lead the team that was working on the project she was assigned to. But she didn't really in that moment at first see that leadership skills can be applied to many different areas, almost everywhere, right? Same for problem solving skills. If you know how to solve a certain problem, you can apply those skills to so many other areas. And that's that problem solving skill of that's when she really realized, Sarah, when she was working on the website and looking at the architecture website from a user experience. And she saw all these problems on this website that didn't make it intuitive for the user to navigate through the site. Solving those problems, she was like, oh my God, this is exciting. I know how to restructure the layout to make it better. And she used her problem solving skills that she had used in so many other ways before, now in a new way. And that's what we find when we talk about transferable skills. And the last piece is, oh, I want all of you here in the who's tuning in, think about one transferable skill that you have. Is it communication? Is it problem solving? Is it leadership? What is one transferable skill that you have used in the past and that you could apply to another field? So really think about it. What is it that you could bring to another job? And then drop it in the chat. I'd love to see your transferable skills. Just pick one. You don't have to have a bunch, but one. What is it that you're really good at? And you could not just do that in your job, but somewhere else as well. And then finally, a lot of us feel that our jobs are really just blah. They're okay, but they don't light us up. We're not really into whatever our company is doing. And it's okay. But deep down, we wish we would make a difference. We wish we would make a bigger impact. We wish there would be some positive contribution that our work has. Anyone feel that way? Can you drop a yes in the chat? If you feel like, I just want to do something that's more meaningful, fulfilling, that makes a difference, that has a purpose. If any of you feel that way, drop a yes in the chat. Oh, I love seeing the transferable skills in here. Communication, absolutely. It's huge, especially as our world gets more digital and we're so much more relying on written communication. Communication skills are huge. It's a big thing recruiters are looking for. Problem solving, yes, totally, absolutely. Knowing how to solve problems in different ways and also being able to think outside the box when we solve a problem. Great one. Loved seeing the leadership in here. That's something not everyone is good at. So this is amazing. Not a lot of people have really good leadership skills. So love seeing that. And then seeing a ton of yeses in here dropping. Yes, right? That's how I felt for so many years. I was like, oh, there has to be something where I make a difference. And even if it's just in a small way, but I knew I wanted to make a positive impact. And that's why we want to think about our interests. And of course, we're not going to turn every hobby you're interested into a job. But maybe when you think about what is it that you really enjoy doing? What do you love to talk about? What do you feel like when you have a conversation? What are the topics that you're drawn to? If you could solve a problem, what would it be? And then think about companies that align with that. So maybe you're really big into the outdoors and you love running and the outdoors and camping. There's a big industry around that, right? There's company who provide to produce the best running shoes or the best outdoor equipment. And within these companies are a million different jobs. There's anything from customer service to back end to IT to marketing to HR. So maybe those are the companies you want to think about that align with what you want to do. Or maybe you're really interested in holistic health or mental health, emotional well-being. Now, that is a huge industry as well with unlimited amounts of job openings. So I just had a client and that was her big passion. She was really loved mindfulness and yoga and meditation. And when I first talked about the idea of finding a company that aligned with her, she was like, "Oh my God, I never thought about that." But the Calm app? That is like, I love this app. Like, that would be my dream company to work for. And it never occurred to her that the skills that she has might possibly fit into a role at that organization and she could make an impact with her skills, with everything she brings to the table for a company that really aligns with a big interest of hers. So those are the pieces we need to find within ourselves. And once we identify these pieces, so we can take, for example, it's like, okay, now I know myself. And of course, on this life, I don't have the time to go into really deep into this deep dive. There is so much more to discover within us to really get all the ingredients we need for our career. But once we find all these ingredients, then comes building that bridge and be like, okay, how does this look in a job? And the best way to figure that out is to talk to people. And LinkedIn is amazing at that. So if you, let's take that last example. You're really into meditation and mindfulness, and this person was like, "Oh my God, the Calm app. I love this app. I use it every day. If I could work for them, that would be amazing." So the first thing we do is, okay, we don't want to just focus on one company, but let's find a group of companies that are really similar to that. And now let's look on LinkedIn and find people who work for these companies. It's so easy to find that on LinkedIn. When you go to the search function, you can search by people and then you can search by by people who work at a certain company. And you put in 5 companies. And then you read through the chirp results and look for people who do work that you'd be interested in. And when you find someone, that's when we call it networking, but it's really being curious and wanting to learn and building professional friendships. So you got to their profile and be like, "Oh my God, they work for the Calm app. I love this company. And their job sounds really cool. I so want to know what they're doing." And then you send them a connection request, always with a personal note. And you tell them, "Hey, I'm so curious to learn more about what you're doing. Would love to connect with you." Coming from a very genuine place, because that's what networking is. It's being genuine, authentic. And that is what builds relationships. Not everyone is going to respond back to you. That's the reality, and that's okay. But if you keep this process up, you're going to get a bunch of people responding back to you. And those are the people you want to pick their brains and be like, "Can you tell me about the company? Can you tell me about your job? And then you can share with them, like, I've really did some inner work, and these are the things I'm really good at. These are the things I'm enjoy doing. These are my transferable skills. Where in the company do you see me fitting in? And what are the job titles that align with that?" And through these conversations is when you find that goal for your job search. That's how you figure out where you want to go in your career. And the great thing, you already built all the relationships that you need that will help you get there. Because building those relationships, it's really what gonna open up opportunities for you to get to where you really want to go. I'd love to hear if any of you have interests or companies that you can think of who are like, oh, yeah, that'd be so cool to work for them or to learn more about. If there's any interest, it can be like you can just drop an interest in there, like outdoor or mindfulness or health or wellness or cooking or food or travel. What is it that you'd be really excited or environmentalism, sustainability, social justice? There's so much out there. IT, are you like super into IT and figuring out the latest apps? What is an interest that you have where you'd like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to talk to someone who works in that industry? I really want all of you to drop that into the chat because you never know who else is here on the call and they might be like, oh, I see so and so saying they're really interested in that, and I have a friend who works in that company. Maybe I could connect them. So don't be afraid to drop in the chat because that's where networking starts. That's why you're here today. All right. I'm going to give everyone a moment to think about this. I know this is a big, big question. Again, if you have any questions at all that come up during what I'm that relate to what I'm saying, any questions that you want to know that will help you in your career search, drop them in the chat. I am here to answer all of them. So take advantage of that. Andrew, you're just so funny. I would love to work for Theresa White Law. See, you need to help me grow my business. I wish I could hire all of you. I meet literally, I meet so many amazing people in my work. And like so many people I work with, like, oh, I just need to have my business big enough where I can hire all of you. One day, Andrew, you'll get to run my HR department. All right. So love to see that. But honestly, like on a more serious note here, if you say like, oh, I'm really drawn to what you see me doing here, talking about job search, empowering women, helping people find careers that align with who they are. Career coaching is a big space. So if you're like, man, I wish this, I'm so curious, then reach out to me. I'm so happy to tell you more about it, to share my journey of how I got into it, the ups and downs, the challenges, all the things I love about it. It is about asking those questions. Oh, thank you so much for sharing, Jamie. I'm passionate about theme parks. Yay! Universal is my dream company, and social justice centered on equitable resources allocation, Ford Foundation, food banks. Thank you so much for sharing that. I actually know someone who works for Universal. Send me a message, Jamie, after or right now or after the live, and I'm going to get you in touch with someone who works at Universal. I have one of my pharma clients. So be super excited to connect you. And obviously, social justice is a huge field as well. So looking at people who work at Ford Foundation, food banks, there are a ton of jobs around that area. And you can find all these people on LinkedIn. Or maybe someone else in the audience here is like, hey, I know someone at Ford Foundation or food banks. And if so, make sure you connect them with Jamie. You're so welcome, Jamie. Anyone else, any other interests that you want to share and see if we know someone and get you in touch with people that do work you'd love to do? So, as I said, there's a lot more work that needs to be done on this deep dive into you so you can really figure out who are you outside of a job title? What is the value you have? What do you bring to the table? And that's exactly what I do in my 90-day coaching program. It's called the Career Clarity Formula. And it's where I help and guide women through really getting career clarity. And it's not just a lot of other programs out there do this work on, okay, what are your strengths? What are your skills? What are your values and motivations? But they miss that bridge building. Okay, now we know all that about ourselves, but how does that translate into a career that really aligns with us? And that's exactly the problem I solve in my program, the Career Clarity Formula. It is doing that deep dive, but then making it super actionable. How does now your ideal career look like based on everything we learn about it? What are the job titles that the group of job titles that go with your ideal job description? And then how do we streamline, how do we tell your story first of all? How do we build your personal brand to position you as an ideal candidate that brings a ton of value to those roles? And then how do we streamline your job search to get you exactly there? And that's what I help people do in just 12 weeks. And the best thing is it comes with an amazing community of super amazing women. I'm doing weekly coaching calls and guide you through step by step. You're not by yourself. You don't have to figure out anything on your own. I guide you step by step through this deep dive to finding what your ideal position looks like, to the job titles that you want to target, and through every step of the job search with a bunch of templates, workbooks, and step-by-step instructions. So if you are interested in joining me on that journey of finding work that truly aligns with who you are, I'd absolutely love to invite you to the Career Clarity Formula. And the exciting thing is usually I only launch this twice a year and start my cohorts twice a year. But I had some demand of people who missed the last launch. So I'm starting one extra cohort next week. And the registration closes on Thursday. So there's only 2 more days open. There's only 2 spots left. So if you're interested in that, definitely send me a message to learn more. Or you can visit my website, of course. Let's drop that in here. It's the Career Clarity Formula, or you can scan the QR code right here. This will get you right there. And then if you visit the Career Clarity Formula, you get everything you want to know about it. But the great thing is it's really a small group coaching program. I make this really personalized and pay a ton of attention to every single person in this group because my groups are only 4 to 8 people per group, 4 to 8 female professionals. It is for mid and senior level professionals. And there's a lot of one-on-one time, one-on-one interaction to make sure that you get that support to guide you through that deep dive, figure out what the careers are that are right for you, and then get you into these fields. And I absolutely just love sharing all the amazing stories from my clients. But I just worked with one client. You can see her testimony or even her video on my website, Randy. Once she went through this deep dive, she only sent out 2 applications, and one of them turned into her now job. And she transitioned she was in education, and she is now an EdTech Innovation Fellow at Arizona State University. Sarah, that I talked about, the architect, she sent 4 applications in, but they are actually not the ones that got her job. It was one of the conversations that she started really early on in her journey. And within 4 months, she found a different position as a user experience designer in a different industry, and she loves her job now. So if you are super ready to be like, okay, this is my time, like this is my sign, I need to find a job that's better for me. Everyone who dropped a yes in there earlier, who wishes that they would do work that matters more, that's more fulfilling, meaningful, somehow it has a purpose or makes a positive difference in the world, that program is for you. So head over to the Career Clarity Formula, send me a DM if you have questions. I'm happy to jump on a one-on-one call with you if you have questions before enrolling. I guess I want to make sure it's the right fit for you and that we'd be a good fit working together. And then I'd absolutely love for you to join my program. Again, there's only 2 spots left and 2 days left. So be quick, grab that last spot, and find the career that's right for you. Oh my God, I love seeing all these amazing comments in here. Emily's, I love to work for the Innocence Project or similar company that helps with criminal justice reform. Yes. You know, there are so many people who work for the Innocence Project on LinkedIn. So go ahead and find these people, start conversations, and get into a job that you really, really want and that lights you up and that makes you come alive and that feels worth getting up for every Monday. All right, everyone. I'm still here for a minute or two for Q&A. Please drop any and all Q&A that you have, any questions in the chat as long as I'm still here. You're gonna get a couple more minutes to ask any questions you have, or you can head over to my website and join the Career Clarity Formula. And it was really amazing to have all of you here. I absolutely love and appreciate the engagement and so many amazing comments here in the chat. And I hope, really hope from the bottom of my heart that all of you find a job that aligns with who you are, because you deserve that. You really deserve to find a job that is not just meh or blah or, yeah, it's just a job. Life is too short for that. You all deserve to find work that you makes you really excited and happy, that you feel challenged in a really good way, that feels fulfilling and meaningful. And I'm telling you, it changed my life when I found that for myself. And I want that for you. No matter what way you go about it, I want you to find that. Your life will literally change when you come home from work every day, feel like energized and happy, and like you had a really good day and the work that you did mattered. So that's what I want to leave you with. Thank you for tuning in, and please spread the word if you know anyone who this life might be really helpful for. Make sure that you share it with them. The replay is available on all platforms. Have a wonderful Tuesday. Thank you for being here.